Dzień dobry, hello everyone.
First question, Marcin, because you are co-founder and joint CEO of CD PROJEKT RED. I think many people on the audience played lots of some of your work. Videogame, White Hunt, which are number 3. The question is, are you guys like happy with what's your last production, or because you must set the bar higher in the next production? So what's your?
I mean, we are totally overwhelmed because, honestly speaking, we are not expecting such a degree of success, and both sales-wise, because the Witcher series reached over 20 million worldwide, out of which almost half of it is Witcher 3. So we practically doubled the sales of the series. It's phenomenal. And that's the first part. The second part is, okay, so of course we are hoping for sales success, not such a big one, in all honesty. And second, we got over 800 awards for Witcher 3, while for Witcher 1 and 2 together we got 200. It is important to stress that we got most of the Game of the Year awards, so over 250, and this is something you cannot plan for. And we are up against quite some fierce competition out there because really, I think the sales in Poland, all the phenomenal, represents 3% of our sales. So the game was #1 practically in every single market in the world where consoles and PC games are played. From, of course, Eastern Europe through Germany, UK, US, but also in places like Middle East or Japan, with normally RPGs and Western RPGs are not doing so well. Brazil, so to speak. Not to mention that we provide 15 language versions, so we've actually localized in every single major market. And this played a gigantic role in our success. Plus, we've done a lot of field work because what you have seen when we started the marketing and PR campaign, or of course a lot of activity online and ads and TV ads, sometimes even in the biggest countries, including Poland actually. But you haven't seen that it has taken us 3 years to prepare for this launch. So it's actually 1 month or 1.5 months of heavy money burning. But before, it's 3 years of hard work every single day to make this happen. So yes, it's a great success, and both on the creative side, so we are very proud of the game and how it's received all around the world. But also on the commercial side. So we've actually managed to push through. We are especially proud of, for example, competing with the big guys in the US and becoming the best, practically one of the best games of last year and one of the best RPGs ever.
Do you have free time during your normal work day? I mean, like, of course you are CEO, so you have to do a lot of things, but
I'm a joint CEO. I'm the guy who does the talking, and then, you know, back home they do the work.
Okay.
No, but seriously, yes I do. Actually, I have more time than I had in the past. I have way more time than when we were shipping Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, because we have a lot of great people out there, and the company has grown incredibly. We are over 500 people across both CD PROJEKT and GOG.com, and there is way more, much smarter people than I am, and they do their stuff, and it wouldn't be possible. And actually we have people all around the world. We have an office in Los Angeles, small office, PR, marketing, branding, and business, just 8 people, and then PR people across all the key countries. So it's not just happening here, and it's just not a small group of people. The development of The Witcher 3 was finished with a group of 250 people, and not to mention everybody that was involved in it, plus the whole publishing department and distribution of our partners. So really way over 1,000 people worked in one way or another on Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Okay. Do you have your favorite title? I mean, like, do you still play games or just only observing the market?
I mean, I touch sort of like 1 hour, 2 hours on all the big stuff. I have to say I became quite picky And if there isn't something new and fresh, I very quickly get bored. I recently played quite a bit of an indie game. I'm really interested in indie games because they are not afraid to push the boundaries and try some new stuff. Sometimes, you know, people think it's totally quite crazy. Like in the past, Puzzle Quest, who would think you can have an RPG game with a puzzle for the battles? It sounds totally crazy. I spent, I don't know, 50 or 60 hours with that one. But recently I had a lot of fun with Darkest Dungeon, which is a fairly simple, in a concept, very simple 2D, beautifully crafted role-playing game, but the mechanics, it's incredible, and the atmosphere and the ambience. So yeah, a lot of great indie titles. I'm also checking out the big games, and I'm always looking for something fresh, as I said.
Okay. When I announced that we have ability to speak to you, and many people asked me to ask this question. So on behalf of many people, I'm asking you this question. Did you guys choose Cyberpunk as your next project to break away from the fantasy, elves, dragons, and you know, to prove that you can create any RPG, or because you know people working for like many years on your Videogame series, they are like eager and able to move from, you know, fantasy world to a very mechanical one as Cyberpunk?
I mean, you know, we love RPG games and we love telling stories, and I think that this is our core competence and core strength. So obviously after 12 years in fantasy with The Witcher, we love it. It's our first child. Actually, I would say triplets, so to speak. But it was time to do something else, and we've been looking at many different things. But Cyberpunk, so basically how we picked Cyberpunk, because I was asked this question in the past. Was it like, I was asked if it was like a financial driven decision or if we did the research. No, we just really loved the theme, and we started talking about the themes we loved. There were different concepts, and then Cyberpunk was the most sticky one. So then among the certain group of people, including us, the management, and then we started asking around. So, hey guys, within the team, how do you feel, you know? And everybody seemed to love. A lot of people played the pen and paper game. That's why we decided to acquire the IP. So it is not an easy decision for a studio like us to pick an IP. And there is one more very important thing to say, is that we have to own the property because we have to have full creative control. That's the fundamental base for what we're doing. We are not going to do any licensing. And obviously, you know, there are concepts like, hey, why don't you do Star Wars or, I don't know, Lords of the Rings or whatnot. No, we don't want to do that. We want to own the IP. We want to do it on our own terms. And when we take such a decision, we'll stay with this IP for many years to come. Maybe 12 years, maybe 20 years. I don't know that. It was a pretty laborious process inside, but we had no doubt that Cyberpunk is the thing, and we have a lot of cool concepts to tell the stories there. On top of that, the IP we bought from Mike Pondsmith, who created the pen and paper RPGs Cyberpunk 2020, has all the mechanics and all the descriptions of the world ready to go. Of course, we are changing a lot of that, but still there is a gigantic base that we can take from, like in case of Andrzej Sapkowski's amazing books. I mean, we had the world. We didn't want to create the world. That was a very well thought of a decision, because we really want to concentrate on what we do best, building these worlds and creating stories. We would have to also build a believable world. I think it could be tough for us.
Okay. You previously announced Cyberpunk and another AAA title. So this will be very exciting for you guys to have at least 2 games. As what I heard, you're going to be producing 4 of them at the same time, right?
I mean, we have 4 teams, yeah. We never said 4 of them, but we have 4 teams, yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us just a little bit about what is this AAA title?
This will be a quick answer. I can't. I can't, and I can explain why. Because it's funny, sometimes people ask me like a quick question after a meeting or a talk somewhere. So what do you think of Cyberpunk? And I say, yeah, we want to make it, I don't know, bigger or better, or I use another adjective to describe our ambitions. And then I see all over the news, all over the big gaming sites, Iwiński said Cyberpunk will defeat everything they did. And then, you know, right now with Cyberpunk and with the next titles, it's really end of talking. It's when we're ready, we'll show the stuff, and then gamers will judge, and media will judge if it's big or if it's not big. I hope they'll judge it's great, but time will come. So right now, I think we have a lot to prove again.
Okay. The next question is about GOG, because from my point of view, it's very interesting side project. But for you guys, I think it's going to be one of the greatest production of your team. How do you see the future of GOG? Because we have Steam, we have lots of company wants to sell digital games online, and you have very proven position. You guys have lots of things and lots of titles in the pipeline. So, do you see the GOG as a Steam competitor, or maybe something else, something bigger?
Okay, so I mean, GOG started as a, I think it's worth to address that, started as a concept to sell older games, to bring older games to the gamers. That was also named Good Old Games. So initially it was just a website, not a platform by far, where you could buy the games. We were selling them revamped, re-engineered, so we made sure they work on all the operating system. Of course, it was within our group, but it was it started very much in a startup-ish kind of form. So there were 5 people. We took a separate office for them, and they were working on the stuff for almost 2 years. Then we launched it. The concept clicked incredibly well. It was only in English. Our revenues back then, I think 60% was US. Poland was maybe 1%, and nobody had a clue that it comes from Poland. And that was really amazing because it clicked on a global scale. And then we were developing this concept, updating the site, but a few years ago we decided, hey, I mean, if we really want to go out there and compete with Steam, we need the backbone, we need the technology, and we started working on the GOG Galaxy. So all the updating, the multiplayer, the matchmaking. And we launched it last year together with the release with The Witcher 3, and I strongly believe that is the future of GOG. So providing like a very curated boutique-like gaming platform with the best chosen content, and offering it to gamers all around the world with a human touch. I mean, we are not a machine, we are not an app store, like a generic environment. We really want to add value, we want to make gamers feel special, and I think it works very well. So a lot of the things we do, you actually don't see it because you just play games, and I think that's very important. But GOG is right now 100 people, and they work day and night on our own tech. So there will be a lot more stuff happening this year, which I cannot talk about. What we did in the last year and a half is, of course, Galaxy, the big Witcher 3 launch. We started launching more and more new games, both indie and from bigger guys. But also we went local, so we launched local language versions, and actually to our big surprise, we saw that even if you launch a dedicated German version with German customer support and local payment methods, and it seems like, initially it seemed like no-brainer, hey, but you know, German's very international and you know, they for sure speak English. Yes, they do, but they don't buy. Because it's not in their mother tongue, they are afraid. They are not convenient because there is no, you know, major German payment method, which is, by the way, called Sofortüberweisung, what I learned in the due process. And this applies to very many countries. We think that if a platform is in English, wow, it solves the problem. Okay, maybe there are some exceptions. Maybe in China it does not. Yes, it does not in China, but it does not in very many European countries. The same happened in France, the same happened in Russia. So right now we also put a lot of effort to make dedicated language versions where we translate all the product pages, sorting uses, and have local customer support 24/7 speaking the local language. So that's a lot of these small things which you as a customer, English speaking, assuming that you are still here while I'm talking, wouldn't even notice, but that's adding a lot of value to the business from the local consumer's perspective.
Okay. Your consumer-friendly approach is legendary among gamers. Many people are, you know, where they hear about CD PROJEKT, they are like, oh my God, they are like so supportive for the gamers. What's what's your view on the issue of piracy in Poland? It's overhyped, it's going to be okay, if it's never-ending story?
Or maybe almost talk about the piracy worldwide. Generally, I think with The Witcher 3, and that was the case for Witcher 2 as well, we've released the game without any copy protection. So on day one, you could download the game from GOG and give it to a friend, enemy as well, but give it to a friend on a memory stick, it works. And still we sold near to 10 million units across all 3 platforms. But the piracy factor was irrelevant because we cannot force people to buy things. We can only convince them to do it. So we totally believe in the carrot, not in the stick. Of course, if you have the pirated version, you don't have achievements, you don't have updates, but pirates have these updates anyway. Funnily enough, what you see, practically every single game is cracked on day one. So the pirated version is out there anyway. We just make it very, very direct that we are not supporting copy protections, but at the same time, we are not condoning piracy. We are against it. Having said that, I've seen many times comments, both on Witcher 3 and on the previous parts, on forums, of people saying, hey, I couldn't afford the game when it was full price, but these guys are so fair, and they were never against us. They were always trying to do good, add a lot of value, give free DLC, give free content, that I bought the game from them when it was mid-price, or when it was, I don't know, for $9, or when there was a promotion. Right now, I think piracy, it's more a badly served consumer, or maybe in case of poorer target audiences, or especially lower income countries, people just cannot afford a $50 game. So maybe, you know, our price point offering in a certain country wasn't right. I mean, for example, we have lower prices in Russia. And there is many cases like that. So we don't like when people steal our product, but we are not going to chase them and put them in prison, but we'll think hard what to make to convince them. And convince them in a very positive way so that they will buy the product next time, they will be happy with our game, and they will tell their friends not to pirate it. And funnily enough, the more we proceed this way, the more we see then again on forums and Reddits and whatnot, we see that there is a guy saying, hey, where can I download Witcher 3 Wild Hunt from? And then there is 10 people bashing them. Oh, you fucko, do not download the game. These guys are fair, they're the only fair guys in the industry. You should go and buy it. And I'm not sure if this guy will buy it or he will find this link, but still, it's a very positive attitude, and it's excellent word of mouth.
Okay. So karma is back. It's officially known that Tomek Bagiński from Platycimash will be making the Witcher movie. CD Projekt Red has the rights to develop games based on the world created by Andrzej Sapkowski. So I wonder, to what extent your contracts allow you to create and commercialize what you created for your games? I guess you can actually make your own TV show.
I'm actually very straightforward answer. We don't have any rights, so we do not take part in it. I think that's really between Tomek and Platyc and Andrzej Sapkowski.
Okay. You are going to extend in the next years, coming years. You guys are planning to hire like 200, 400 people. New staff for your projects. How do you guys find these people? Because actually, like, not existing right now, maybe not even born.
I mean, yeah, it is always hard because we are making the best games in the world, and we want the best people to make these best games. We really need them. So there is many ways. I think first of all, it is the usual HR, and we look both in Poland, extensively in Poland. From junior to senior. Luckily, the game dev scene is growing like crazy, and there's more and more developers. So the pool of talent exists. It's not huge, but it's, I don't know, 1,000 times bigger than when we started working on Witcher 1, because there was nobody almost back then. The second thing is we really do a lot of HR internationally. So right now, out of the roughly 300, 350 developers we have on board, I would say over 100 or around 100 is foreign. And we are actually getting more and more foreign people. The more successful our games are in the world, the easier it is, because that's a great thing in gaming, that people work for passion. They, I mean, a great artist, programmer, animator, they can choose to work in Canada, California, Poland, or UK. And they come to us because they want to work on Cyberpunk, for example, on the Witcher series. And finally, we also take more junior people, that's especially from Poland, and then we train them in the process. So yeah, we require knowledge. We pick the best, but we get a lot of local talent, more lower level talent, inexperienced people who have the skills, and we see some potential in them, and then they become part of the teams. Initially, more on the junior positions, and then they climb up, like the whole company was. You know, I started the company 20-something years ago, and you know, I had no clue about anything whatsoever, with the exception of which games are good and which games are not so good. So,
okay, maybe the answer will be like creating your own Barcelona football, you know, school, and the benefit from its resources, because you know you can train people. You already know what's the best to do, and you know what kind of people you need for your type of organization. So maybe, you know, not creating a new kind of entity help you to give another person.
Yeah, I think about the entity, I can tell you that we already have a lot of on our plate, and what we learned during the last 20 years is that we have to be laser focused on what we're doing. That's what why you don't see too many games from us. You don't see many new franchises. We tried this approach in the past and we almost failed. So at a certain point, I remember we had like 8 or 9 different businesses in our group, and right now we have 2, and we feel very good about that. So yes, I mean, we are definitely open to working with academic institutions, and sometimes we do some, right now, smaller things. We have an internship program, which is available on our HR pages. Of course, it's limited, as we have to spend time with interns afterwards and teach them stuff. So we want to get not that many, I mean, as many as we can chew, no more. And then, you know, if there will be any cool initiatives, we're definitely open to that. But our business is to develop the best RPGs, story-driven ones in the world, and not to build schools, at least for now.
How about mobile development? You guys have lots of experience in next generation consoles, in the PC. The mobile, I think it's like something you don't feel pretty right.
No, it's not like, I mean, first of all, we are all becoming mobile gamers, whether we want it or not, because we constantly play on the go. And mobile really has taken over all the portable platforms and killed them. So mobile is the portable platform. And games, yeah, I would say we're constantly looking at it, and maybe at a certain point you'll see something from us. And I'm less looking at it, hey, it's a mobile game, hey, it's a console game. I'm more interested about the experience we can give to the gamer. What is the reward, what is our value proposition, and whenever we'll be ready for that, you'll see something. If we won't be ready, you won't see something, you won't see anything. But it's not a question like really dividing the platforms per se. I would say right now our games offer a spectacular high definition experience, what actually does require an HD or even a 4K screen, and that is very much limiting mobile. The rest, it's just another thing. That's why you didn't see our game on other not that powerful platforms, because they were not capable of handling what we've produced. But yes, we do quite a lot of R&D on this stuff, and you might see something from us or not.
Okay. Under the new strategy for the years 2016 and 21, your company is planning, among other things, I will quote, to enter the top 3 of the most recognized video game developers in the world. So my question is, what are the names of the other 2 companies?
Yeah, I think I actually said the best. So the goal for the last 5 years was to be among the top 3 role-playing game developers in the world, and I think we got there, and I think Witcher 3 is the best proof. So for the top 3, actually, I would, and again, it's our perception. I definitely put there Blizzard. I definitely put there Rockstar. And I think I would have to put them at number 1, and probably Bethesda as well. So we want to get there. One will have to go.
Okay, last question. Oh, pretty one. Last question about DLC. The one and only what we are looking for in the Wine and Blood. Is it okay? Is it online? I mean, like, will it be on time?
Yeah, it definitely will be on time. It will be on time. It just passed the internal approvals, and it's amazing. It's way bigger than we thought. We initially said 20 hours. Looks like it's over 30.
It's 5 times bigger than the last DLC?
It's several times bigger than Hearts of Stone, and most importantly, it's a total new area. It's Tucson, the wine country, and it actually consists, because when we finished, when we were working on Witcher 3, we were still learning. This was next gen. The engine upgraded to the next gen, so it was still a little bit fighting with the technology and our own tools. We shipped the game, we were constantly updating it. And Hearts of Stone was then already slightly better, but here we just focused, okay, for the first time in the history of the company, we have to produce an expansion. And although it was 10, 15 hour experience, it was still like shipping a game. And here in Blood and Wine, we have really taken the tech to next level. Maybe not 2.0, but 1.5. So actually the game looks better. We did a lot with UI, gameplay mechanics. I think it's very different to what a lot of companies is doing out there, because very often the approach is the main studio does the game, and then they outsource the DLCs just to monetize it, yeah? And then you get the DLC and you say like, hey, it's not as good as the base game. I think in case of our approach, I think this first and foremost the same group of people that was working on the original game, it's working on the expansions, and then we really put everything there. So Blood and Wine will be amazing. Take my word for that.
Cool. And that will be the last question. Sorry. Will ever Geralt return as a character in all of your games, or are you just done with this kind of setting?
I mean, I don't like things like will ever, no, never. Never say never. It's time to take a break, and a really longer break. When we'll be ready, if there will be anything, we'll talk about it. But right now, hey, we've promised Cyberpunk in, what, 2012? So it's about time to show something. That's the full focus of our studio. It's a very interesting time, because we're saying goodbye to our biggest franchise, and we are starting on a new road, and I'm really curious to see what happens. I think it will be very, very interesting, and we've proven to the world that we can create great games, and right now let's conquer the world with a new IP, with Cyberpunk. So yeah.
Thank you much. Marcin Iwiński, CD PROJEKT RED. Guys, give a big round of applause.
Thank you.